Hello, it is Topical Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. Steve Sipress here. Another beautiful, sunny, and pleasant fall day here in sunny Arizona with a beautiful sunset just ending behind me. So I'll make this one relatively quick, he said, hoping that actually happens, so I can get done before the sun goes down, as Elton John would say. And so today, the obligatory news came out that the voting results, now these Major League Baseball votes for the season-long awards are all done right after the regular season ends, before the playoffs even begin, and the playoffs go on for about a month. So, they wait a while to publish these results. They certainly could have been published a while ago. And Gary Morris is here, great senior. But I can get into that. It's another topic for another day. That's called marketing. And so they're not going to step on their own parade and put out all the news of their awards for the regular season while the playoffs are going on, because Major League Baseball is getting a lot of attention, a lot of juice during the playoffs. So they wait till the playoffs are over, and then they start dripping out the news of each award. And of course, they could release all the awards all on one day, and maybe way back when they did that, but that's foolish. Why not get headlines every single day? So today was the announcement of the Rookie of the Year awards. And of course, I paid special attention to that because the winner of the award, the assumed obvious, supposed to win unanimously leading candidate, was one player on my beloved but spectacularly disappointing and embarrassing New York Mets. Pete Alonso, their slugging rookie first baseman who led not only the Mets, not only the National League, but all of baseball with 53 home runs this year, and won the home run derby, where he hit like 60 more. So I guess he had over 100 home runs this year, but I digress. Anyway, on a serious note, Yordan Alvarez in the American League won unanimously. There's one holdout, one guy from Oakland or something that voted for Mike Soroka, Atlanta pitcher, over Pete Alonso for the Rookie of the Year, and he's actually defending his ridiculous choice to not have Pete Alonso be the unanimous Rookie of the Year. But it made me think, Rookie of the Year, that's like getting a fast start. And I wondered, so I looked it up, how many times that fast start translates into long-term success. And that's today's lesson for business owners. And I looked it up, and they've been awarding a Rookie of the Year player in baseball. I just looked it up in baseball, not the other sports. But it's probably something similar. They've been doing it for 70 years, so there's two different leagues. There's been 140 different winners of the Rookie of the Year. Now, a bunch of those are still playing because they won it like Pete Alonso, or others that won it 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's too early to tell whether they'll have a long-term successful career. What I looked up was how many of them made the Hall of Fame. So not only had a long, successful career, but had one of the greatest careers ever. So they started out as the greatest, the number one rookie, big expectations, like right now, Pete Alonso, oh, this guy, man, he'll hit 600-700 homers, and he'll, have 1,000 RBIs, and he'll make the All-Star team 10 times, and, he can't miss, what a great guy, and blah. We'll win multiple national championships, World Series championships with him, and blah. All the expectations are sky high when someone wins a Rookie of the Year award. Now, how often does that translate? Well, I looked it up, and so far, out of the 140 winners of Rookie of the Year, only 16 of those players became Hall of Famers. Only 16. What is up with that? Now, as a caveat, as I said, there are about 6 more that are about to head in. Derek Jeter, undoubtedly, Albert Pujols, several others that are Mike Trout. They're pretty much a lock for the Hall of Fame. They're just either not finished yet. Ichiro is another one. Of course, these guys are making the Hall of Fame. They just haven't been eligible yet, or they're still playing, or whatever. So, let's just be generous, just bump the number up to a full 22 then. That's 22 out of 140. That's 1 out of 7. It's about 15%. That's a low, or 13, or less than 14%. That's a low number, I would think. I would have thought it'd be a lot higher. And like I said, I don't know in the other sports. Maybe it is higher. But it made me think, that reminds me in business that if you have a business and you're in the startup mode and things aren't going so great in the start, so if there was some kind of voting for rookie business of the year startup, you wouldn't even be in the conversation and wouldn't win it. So what? Doesn't mean anything. It's not an absolute predictor of long-term success. There were a whole bunch of players I looked up that had won the Rookie of the Year award who I remembered their names when they won, but then I was like, what the heck ever happened to these guys? Stan Bunsen, I remember when he was a pitcher for the Yankees. When I was a kid, my dad brought home, I got a signed baseball from him, and other players that just had injuries and troubles and whatever. And then there's some others that are, Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and Orlando Cepeda, all around the same time for the San Francisco, Giants back in the 60s. Pretty extraordinary. Although, actually, a couple of them were for the New York Giants. Mays and Cepeda, I believe, might have been for the New York Giants. But anyway, and some other, just Carlton Fisk, some of the greatest players of all time. But many more, not so great. So, maybe you have a competitor who just started up a business and they started off whiz-bang and they're going fantastic. Doesn't mean they're going to be around for the long term and they're going to make the Hall of Fame of business. So it's great if you get a great fast start, but don't get discouraged. It's not an absolute great predictor of long-term success, of lasting success, of doing the right things in the long term. Makes sense, and a lot of factors go into it, just like in sports. There's luck involved in business as there is in sports and all of life. So who knows what can happen and what technology comes along and what disruptors come in. I mean, you could have had the greatest startup cab company in your city, 8 or 10 years ago, and said, man, I'm written up in all the papers and I'm interviewed all over. What a successful cab company I've started up. And then boom, along comes Uber. And suddenly no one cares anymore about cab companies and so forth. You could have had the greatest buggy whip company in America back in the 1910s, and then Henry Ford's electric car supplants the horse pretty much. There's still horses left, of course, but 99.99999% of travel on roads is not done anymore by horses. And so that Rookie of the Year, that great start by that buggy whip company, actually also meant nothing long term. So there's a lot of factors. Now, one more step, I'll take it one more step, a bonus step here, and then I'll leave you for the day on Topical Tuesday, is this also applies, I believe it applies to everything, so it also applies to our customers, or our clients, members, patients, wherever they are in your business. Somebody becomes a client, and they're all excited and going, like I'm a consultant. I help business owners scale their businesses and make millions of dollars and multiple six-figure growth in their business and add all kinds of streams of income and maximize their profits forever, do all kinds of amazing things. Once in a while I have a client that right away, right off the bat, he or she gets it. Rarely for me, they don't argue with me. They don't say, yeah, but. They don't say, but we've always done it a different way. No kidding. That's why you have me now. Let's suspend your disbelief and just try me. Prove me wrong, okay? Do something. But once in a while, there's a client who whiz-bang right off the bat takes action. When I set him up and connect him to somebody that could change his life and add a multiple six-figure stream of income, they actually follow up, contact the person, do what the person suggests they need to do to get this relationship going, and they make a ton of money right off the bat. Sometimes I have those. You would call those the Rookie of the Year client. But sometimes, like the saying goes, shooting stars burn out quickly. So they burn real bright for a short time and then they're gone. And sometimes that happens to Rookie of the Year players in sports. They have a phenomenal rookie campaign like Pete Alonso, sets a record, leads the major leagues in home runs. And man, if he doesn't keep doing that, people are going to look back and just go, hey, remember that guy had one fantastic whiz-bang season. Everyone had high expectations and then poof, went away. So that can happen to businesses, can happen to your client relationships. And on the other hand, as the numbers say in Major League Baseball Rookies of the Year anyway, if that translates to business, that means most of your clients, even if right away they're not all gung-ho fantastic clients, maybe they last longer and they become stronger and they become better clients. What's the saying? It's something around, it's appropriate to me because I am not one of those, usually those fast starters. I have historically been the slower learner, the more stubborn, arguing with my coach and consultant, like I just said. So I guess, turn around is fair play. Karma, what goes around comes around or whatever. So I would go like, yeah, I'm not sure, and overthink and not take action. And so I've rarely been that shooting star, but I've had it said to me, and I remember this is where a mentor said it to me, my manager at the start of my 9-year door-to-door sales career, where I couldn't sell anything, and I was terrible, absolutely awful at it. And he said, yeah, but Stevie Mann, from the island of Grenada, George, with that great Caribbean accent, Grenadian accent, and he said, Man, those that takes longer to learn, they learn it stronger. So that was his way of saying that those that came right in and suddenly they were selling out everything in their car every day and going crazy, and I'm looking around going, what's wrong with me? I've been here for like 2-3 months and I suck at this thing. This guy's selling like crazy. Well, that guy was gone a week later because he ran into one obstacle, and suddenly, one rainy day, one snowy day, one getting held up at gunpoint, one getting told no soliciting or getting arrested for it and thrown in jail for half the day. All that stuff happened to me, and I kept going. But any one of those obstacles happened a lot of times to these natural superstars that came in and they couldn't handle it. So I lasted, even though I sucked in the beginning. I just wouldn't quit. I finally got the hang of it, and then I was completely unstoppable and set all kinds of records and did all kinds of great things. So whether you are looking at your own business, yourself, your clients, your competitors, wherever you're looking, keep it in mind that I believe that just because somebody has a whiz-bang fantastic start, like Pete Alonso of my beloved Mets winning the Rookie of the Year award this year, and I looked around, when the season ended, I dwelled in the bast and the glory of the Pete Alonso season for about a week or so, and then I finally put all my Mets stuff away. And I was just saying to my beautiful wife, Michelle, where's my New York Mets hat? I can't find my Mets hat. And I wanted to get out here before the sun set, and I missed it. So I couldn't find, I ought to be wearing, right, my New York Mets hat for this video. But anyway, and I have 2 or 3 of them. I can't find any of them. What's going on? But anyway, that's it for Topical Tuesday, right? Don't get discouraged if you're having a slow start to a new product or a new service or a new location or a new employee, or you're just starting up your business, or you're starting up a second or a third business or a second or third location, or you're bringing a client that you had high hopes for and in the beginning they're not getting along as well as they want, or a supplier, that product or service is not working out so well for you, or a new item on your menu, or whatever it is. I'm suggesting today that you don't project whatever happens in the early going, that's necessarily a predictor of what's happening long term. In fact, as I look at the Major League Baseball Rookies of the Year, it's actually an opposite predictor, or whatever that's called in the world of statistics. And I used to be all good at statistics. My first multi-million-dollar business was a statistical company. So I used to know all these terms and phrases, and an adverse something or other, indicator or whatever it's called, that it's possible that Rookie of the Year is an adverse indicator, that it's not a good thing for the people that win it, because 7 out of 8 of them do not end up in the Hall of Fame. Although now that I think about it, that's still incredible, right? 16 or 20 out of 140, well, you certainly don't find that, I don't think, in any other category or group of baseball players, that you would say 20 out of any given 140 players make the Hall of Fame. So maybe it's not a contraindicator, maybe it is a good indicator, but it's not necessarily 100% predictive. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't get discouraged if you're having a slow start to anything, or if employees having a slow start, or a new product or service, or a new marketing campaign, or you're running an ad and your phone doesn't ring off the hook the first day that you're running it. Who knows? That's not necessarily predictive. And I got a bug here bothering me. The light, I'm sure. Not necessarily a predictor of long-term success or failure. So that's the lesson for today. Take what you will from that. That's my thoughts on the Rookie of the Year award in baseball today, besides, of course, my real thought, which is, let's go Mets. Pete Alonso wins Rookie of the Year. That'll do it for Topical Tuesday. My beautiful wife, Michelle, is beckoning me to dinner, so I am heading in, and I'll be back tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday. Thanks, everyone watching live and on the replay. Leave a question, comment, concern, anything at all, wherever you're watching or listening to or reading this. I always respond when appropriate. You want some help we're just thinking through what's going on in your business or looking out for some support or help or whatever, you might want to give it a shot to go to helpfromsteve.com, and we'll get on the phone, and I guarantee I'll be able to help you out one way or another. And besides, we'll just have some fun anyway, even if we do nothing else but just talk over and share some common experiences and have some fun. Get to know each other a little bit. Helpfromsteve.com. That'll do it. Catch you tomorrow. Over and out. Bye-bye.